Defensive board from Fossil. Here they come. Oshis. Kowchuk thought about it. Underneath, and Lambert will get fouled. Ripson will check in as Dylan Ellis will be checked out. That's Matt Veen's second foul of the game. Oshis drives. Kornmesser thought about the three. Back out to Ellis. Ellis actually stayed in the game. That was my bet on my part.
I believe it was Kowchuk who subbed out.
Yeah. Lambert, nice move. Couldn't finish. Here comes Brady Paris. Back to his brother, Reggie Paris. Davis. First time he's had the ball here in the second half, or the second quarter. Driving is Paris. Paris underneath, try to reverse, couldn't get it. Here comes Kornmesser. Kornmesser, pull up three, no good. Von Stitt with the rebound. Reggie Paris. Back out to Stitt. Davis underneath. And an easy finish for Connor Riepma.
Not much you can do about that if you're Kornmesser, especially with the height advantage.
A 3-point advantage for the Mustangs. Ripsum on Stitt. Dylan Ellis. Falso's really trying to get it inside the Lambert. Lambert will get it, but on the perimeter. Oshis. It's a long two, no good. And he'll stay here with Fossil. Kornmesser. Lambert. Lambert on Mason. Lambert drives. Good defense by Mason. And they'll come up with the turnover. Underneath, good find to sink Mason. Good ball movement from Mullen. Davis drives, pull up. Jumper is good.
Great move to create separation right there.
Nice speed from Kornmesser. Lambert left, lay in, no good. Von Stitt. Stitt back to underneath. Easy for Sink Mason. The 6'4" senior with the 2 points, and Fossil will call timeout. 22-15, 7-point advantage for the Mustangs.
That was a big 8-0 run for them right there. So Brandon, as we almost reach halftime, what are some things that you think Fossil needs to do better, and some things that Mullen also needs to do better?
I feel for Mullen, it's getting the defensive rebound. They've had a tough time. Fossil missing a lot of shots, and that's what they need to do better, is to make their open shots. They had a couple of open three-pointers. Lambert, they're really trying to get it inside the Lambert, but he's unable to finish. Kornmesser on Cito. Henderson will check in. Kornmesser. Kornmesser drives. Kornmesser fouled before the shot. That's the third foul committed from the Mustangs here in the second quarter. Fossil doesn't commit any in the second quarter, so they made a change with the amount of fouls they committed. Henderson drives. Henderson got stripped away by Sink Mason. Stitt. Von Stitt. Underneath. Sink Mason again, no good. Couldn't get his own miss. Fossil's got numbers. Kornmesser drives. Kornmesser, bad pass. Stitt with the turnover, or Stitt with the interception. He caused the turnover. And another travel violation on the Mustangs.
Whittle has also checked in for the first time this game.
Here comes Cornmester. Cornmester outside to Dylan Ellis. Ellis drives. Ellis nothing, and he'll commit another turnover for Fossil. Davis out to Stitt. Stitt Paris. Paris back to Davis. He'll try a three. Got it.
Too much room. Even with the hand in his face, you still got to contest that a little bit better if you're Ellis.
That's a three from Henderson. No good. Fossil struggling. They're down by 10. The Mustangs trying to complete the upset on the road. Paris. It's going to be a block foul. Blocking foul, I believe, on Cornmester. 1:45 left. The Mustangs with a 10-point advantage over the SaberCats.
Seems like we have a little bit of not as many foul calls this quarter. Do you think the refs have kind of eased up a little bit, or teams have just been playing a little bit cleaner?
I think the teams have played a little bit cleaner, but the turnovers are still there, as we almost saw there. I think both teams definitely made changes here in the second quarter. They just need to play a little better and handling the ball, and turnovers are still an issue. Paris inbound.
Oh, smart play. Good finish. I believe he just tossed it right off the back of Calcher.
Reggie Paris with the... He'll go to the line. Reggie Paris is 61% free throw shooter. Foul committed by Ethan Henderson. That's his first. The Mustangs are 5 for 5 from free throws so far, and free throws are a big part of the game.
Yeah, they've definitely been controlling in that aspect, getting a lot of foul calls, definitely being aggressive. Something Fossil needs to look more to do, especially with Kalchek and Lambrecht.
I was afraid I might commit a announcer jinx, but Paris will nail both. Here comes Blake Bodner.
At a time like this, down by 12, with the starters getting some rest, this is when the bench players really need to kick it in and get some momentum on their side for when the starters come back in.
Bad pass from the right side, and another Fossil turnover, and the Mustangs have the ability to extend their lead. They already have a 12-point lead over the SaberCats. You know, we explain, what the scores are and what their facts are, but why is it that Fossil's down by 12?
Basketball is a game of runs, and it looks like the Mustangs are getting a little bit of that right now, but it seems like Fossil's kind of lost all energy. Fans aren't really into it. Even the bands aren't really into it, so they just kind of rekindle that energy from when the starters come back in so they can hopefully make this a close game and avoid the upset.
1 minute left here in the first half. Good defense from Fossil, but another fine. Rietma with the finish. And Mullen using their big men. Kalchek drives. Kalchek, great drive, but denied by Rietma. Here comes...
Great pass.
Wow.
Great finish.
And one. Stitt. Wow. 14-point lead for the Mustangs, and trying to go with the old-fashioned three-point play.
I don't believe Fossil has scored, so as of now, the Mustangs are on a 17-0 run.
17-0 run. Stitt will go to the line. He's a 62% free throw shooter. He'll miss it, and he can't complete the three-point play. Here comes Bodner. 16-point lead for the Mustangs. Henderson And another turnover. My goodness. Paris. Stitt. Mustangs can hold for the last shot. 10 seconds left here in the second quarter. Paris drives. Paris, right hook. And Bonner with the last heave. That won't go.
Wow,
And
what
the
a win.
Fossil Ridge SaberCats are down 33-15 at the end of the first half. What have you seen so far from both teams?
Well, it looked like a close game to start, and then the Mustangs really kicked it in. They got their nerves kind of out of the way, and they just look to be dominating right now.
So for Fossil and Mullen, both have committed a lot of turnovers, but Mullen has cut down on that, and Fossil has done a poor job with that. What does Fossil need to do to stop the turnovers and get back on track? Because as you said, that's quite the run at the end.
I believe they're playing too much hero ball right now. You just have too many guys saying, all right, I'm going to be the guy, I'm going to score. They need to move the ball like they were earlier, especially as we saw with Oshus. And definitely just limit on the turnovers because the Mustangs has been eating those up.
And for Mullen, they've gone to the free throw line quite a bit. They're 6 for 7 from the free throw line. And for Fossil, they haven't gone to the free throw line.
Yeah, it's just who's more aggressive, who wants it more. As you can totally see now that the Mustangs want it more. So we'll see what goes on in the locker room and see how Fossil plays in the second half.
And the Mullen Mustangs, they've lost 5 straight, and they are off to a great start here on the road, 33-15. What do the Mustangs need to do to keep this lead?
They just need to keep eating off those turnovers. They're getting a lot of transition buckets. Their players are filling the lanes correctly. Davis has been amazing. He's creating separation for himself, getting shots off. They're feeding it in the post. Everything on offense just looks easy for them right now.
Yeah, we talked about Davis, but how about Sink Mason? Sink Mason has been key, not just for scoring, but he has made a lot of blocks so far, which has affected Lambert. What does Fossil need to do to stop Mason and get Lambert back into the game?
They just need to work the ball in more. They need to space out the floor so you don't have as many guys clogging the paint and who can collapse on Lambert. And just also go back to the fundamentals. Good footwork, get those guys up in the air, get yourself an easy basket.
We're going to make a quick transition to Tyler Kine will stay, but I'll get it to Blake Cummins for the halftime report. We're just going to make a quick transition right here. Fossil Ridge down 33-15. I'll give it over to Blake Cummins and Tyler Klein.
Thank you for joining, Blake. So, as we mentioned earlier, definitely the key players for Fossil and Lambert and Ripsum. How about Mullen? What have you seen so far from them?
Well, for Mullen, I've seen Christian Davis light it up from 3. They haven't been able to defend him, and when they stop him, he just passes it to other guys and facilitates the ball around, which makes more baskets, and that's why they're up by 18 points.
How do you feel about the post play so far from both Fossil and Mullen? As we see Mullen getting a lot of easy baskets and Fossil not so much. What are some things that they can improve on in that aspect?
Well, for Fossil, they haven't really been able to get it to Brandon Lambert that much. When he's gotten the ball, he's gotten it outside for the 3, which he's not really used to taking shots at. And for Mullen, they have a center who's in Connor Ripson, who's 220 pounds and controlling the ball in the paint. He's dominating them, and he's 220 pounds, which is way over any other of Fossil's guys, so they can't really stop him once again when he gets in the paint.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So, what are some things or some highlights or great things that you saw from the first half from Mullen especially?
Well, Mullen, I think Fossil thought it was going to be an easier game since they were the highest seed and at home, but Mullen came out with fire and, as you saw, tried to get a dunk.
Definitely, we've seen the offensive prowess by Davis. His ability to catch and shoot off the dribble, and also create separation for himself, especially over taller players. With him being the main guy, who do you think has to be the main guy for Fossil if they want to win?
Well, for Fossil, I have to say Brandon Lambert, who's a senior. This could be his last game at playing Fossil. So if he wants to continue, they have to get him in the paint, give him easy baskets, and try to get Connor Ripsom out of the game. That's the only way they'll be able to come back and win this game and have a chance.
All right, so as we're about halfway through halftime, as we mentioned earlier, the winner of this game is going to face Overland in the next round. Overland, as we know, has always been a dominant team throughout Colorado. What do you think both teams are going to have to do if they want to even potentially take a win against a team like Overland?
Well, I say for Mullen, they're going to have to play at the same integrity as they are right now. And for Fossil, there's not going to be a tomorrow if they don't win this. They have to play strong. If they win this game, they have to play with more fire and more integrity and play smarter because Fossil's been turning the ball over a lot, so they can't get points.
As me and Brandon were mentioning throughout the half, during the first quarter, we had a lot of fouls called. We obviously saw that cut down a little bit in the second quarter. How big of a key to the game do you think the officiating will be throughout the rest of it?
Well, I thought in the first half, at least the second quarter, the refs really let them play. It's a playoff game, so you would usually see that.
Guys will be going at their hardest.
Yeah, it's really been exciting to see how they perform. I think this, even though Fossil doesn't have many points, they've tried their hardest.
So I know, of course, we can't get into the minds of the coaches and stuff like that, and especially in a situation like this. What do you think are some of the things that Coach Johansson is going over with his guys right now as they're in the locker room facing a double-digit deficit?
He's going to be really mad at how they played their hardest. He knows that. But they haven't been able to get any points off of that. So I think he's going to be really mad at how they turned the ball over a lot, gave Mullen a lot of second chance opportunities, and allowed a lot of offensive rebounds.
And for Coach Catton of the Mustangs, do you think he's going to be using this as an opportunity for improvement for them in the second half, or just kind of re-emphasizing some of the keys that they had throughout the first half?
Well, I've seen a lot of games that the players kind of relax, and so I think the coach needs to tell them to keep going, play at your hardest, win this game, and go on to the next round.
Without a doubt. So, as we kind of mentioned earlier at the beginning of halftime, of course, Davis and Mason for the Mustangs. Who do you think are going to be some of the 3 and 4 guys that are going to be important for Mullen?
Well, for Mullen, the dominant guys besides Davis is going to be Connor Ripsom. He's heavier, can dominate the paint and get easy shots for Mullen. Well, at Fossil, they need to get it down to Brandon Lambert and Holden Kauchek.
Yes, I believe that is correct. All right, so as we are currently about 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from the second half, players are coming back out for the shoot-around. This has been Tyler Klein, joined by Blake Cummins. Thank you for joining me. We'll take a little break before the beginning of the second half and send it back over to me and Brandon Cruz.
As welcome back here to the Sabercat Gymnasium here at Fossil Ridge High School in Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm Brady Cruz along with Tyler Klein, and we're just about ready to start the second half. And Tyler, Fossil Ridge, as we said before, only scored 15 points in the first half, and they gave up 33 in the first half. What does Fossil need to do to get more points without committing fouls or being too aggressive?
I think, as me and Blake were mentioning over halftime, they just need to go back to the basics that's been winning them games throughout the season. Lambert, without a doubt, the best player on their team. They need to look for him, create some space so there isn't as much clogginess inside the paint. And I think they need to focus on that and also kick it out to their shooters a little bit more.
We're just about ready to start the second half. The Mullen Mustangs have lost 5 in a row, and they're trying to end that streak right here on the road in the playoffs for the first round. Calvin Marley drives. Marley denied by Mason. Seeing Mason with yet another block.
Bigs have been, along with Davis, the most dominant players for the Mustangs right now. They're playing well in every aspect of this game so far.
Tommy Croft, he sat most of the first half despite being a starter. Marley drives. He's got it. Calvin Marley with the finish.
Great use of his body right there. That's what they need to do a lot more in the second half.
Next, Cito. Cito right side. Parrish underneath. Davis, good pass. Mason, good with the right hook. Sink Mason yet again. Actually, no, that was Connor Riepma with the finish. Both of the Mustangs, big guys, coming up big so far. And one. Brandon Lambert.
As we both mentioned earlier,
yeah.
That's what they got to do if they want to get back into this game.
Be interesting to see. We saw St. Mason guard Brandon Lambert most of the first half, and Fossil taking an advantage. St. Mason not in the game so far, but we definitely will expect him later in this quarter. Lambert can't finish the three-point play. Cito back to Paris. Dangerous pass, but inside. And yet another feed to Connor Riepma. And he banks one off the glass. Actually kind of kissed it off the glass as the lead extends to 18. Thinking about the three, and now driving is ripped somebody, was denied yet again.
They could not get anything over Riepma right now.
Veen back to Riepma, Riepma back to Veen. Veen drives, that's gonna be a charge. Yeah, that's a good call.
I think honestly, if Riepma wanted to, he could have taken it in for 2 right there, but definitely good team play, as they have been. Riepma, who doesn't look like the greatest athlete you've ever seen, like a Bo Jackson, He is just getting it done in terms of blocks.
Matt Veen with his 4th foul of the game. So we'll take a timeout break here. 6:12 left. 18-point lead for the Mustangs. Fossil looked good for them for a moment, but Mullen's passing and the way they move the ball has definitely killed Fossil here in the second half.
Yeah, without a doubt. They've had great ball movement in transition and on offense. They can either get guys open for 3-point shots or they can feed it inside to Riepma and Mason. So as I mentioned earlier, they are just playing well in every aspect of the game.
6:12 remaining here in the third quarter. Fossil Ridge down by 18. The Mullen Mustangs trying to end their 5-game losing streak. As we said, they were only 4-10 in conference, 10-13 overall. And Fossil, on the other hand, was 8-4 in conference and just 12-11 overall. So for Fossil, they were much better in conference, while Mullen was much better out of conference.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the record is of course crucial, but really just who you're playing. Without a doubt, Mullen is playing tougher teams down in Southern Colorado and the Centennial League, as you mentioned earlier, where you have teams like Overland, Denver East, some of the top tier teams in the 5A class.
Inside the Ripsum. All right, excuse me, that's Lambert. He draws the foul. So for the 2018 Chaza Boys Basketball State Tournament, Rock Canyon comes as the 1 seed, and then Thunder Ridge as a 2 seed. What do teams that are not those top 2 teams, what do they need to do to get to the finals and potentially face those teams to try to get in? Because as we know, Rock Canyon and Thunder Ridge, very good basketball teams.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, they if they were to make it further in the rounds, they need to just focus on the things that have helped them be successful throughout the season. They also need to do a lot of studying. I mean, the addition of film in the game of basketball has done so much. You're able to study your players, know their tendencies, and it just makes everybody better, and you're able to know your opponent a little bit more when you come into the game.
If Mullen holds on to this double-digit lead, they would face Overland in the next round. And now Overland is in the same conference as Mullen, so it would be a familiar foe that they would play. Stitt drives, nice kick out. Parasol about the 3, step back, 3-pointer's no good. Defensive rebound by Ripsum.
So obviously with a lot more teams in like this Chassa tournament, do you see this as kind of like a March Madness in a sense, where we see a lot of the higher seeds be upset, or do you really just think it comes down to those higher seeds being better basketball teams and they'll make it farther in the rounds?
Well, right now it looks like upsets are going to be the primary factor here in the tournament, because Fossil's a 25 seed and they're down by 18 at home against Mullen, the 40 seed. So I do believe, however, I do believe that Rock Canyon and Thunder Ridge will make a run, and I think that it's Stitt with the long 3. I feel that in a March Madness way, it will be like that, but of course you will still have the teams that will dominate each other.
I think the main difference would just have to be the playing site, because March Madness, most of the games are played at a neutral site, but here it's the higher seed gets a home advantage until you make it to the Sweet 16, which is at the Denver Coliseum.
Christian Davis with the 3, and it's extended to a 43-21 lead as Cornmester with the finish. Little runner that goes in. 22-point advantage for the Mustangs. That's going to be a foul. Ripson playing a little aggressive. He draws the foul as Fossil's first team foul here in the second half.
I think Fossil right now, it really comes down to the mental game. You're down by, they basically double your score. You're in a playoff game. For some of the seniors, it's the last game. I think they really need to keep their heads up and their hopes up, and keep playing with that same intensity and energy that they came out with at the beginning of the game, and what kept this game so close, and what we both were predicting would be a close finish.
Coach Caton has got to be happy with the way his team has played, and for Coach Johansson, he's got to be a little disappointed with the way that his team has played.
Yeah, I think he expected a little bit better out of this squad, who has done so well without the regular season, especially in their conference play. As we saw, great play against the Front Range teams, and even out of conference, a lot of dominant wins. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Fossil is getting pummeled on the glass, especially on the offensive glass and the defensive glass. They haven't been able to get rebounds, and they have a couple of big guys that are able to get rebounds, but for Mullen, I mean, Sink Mason and Connor Remond have dominated Lambert and Marley, as Christian Davis another 3 no good. And like we said, another offensive rebound for the Mustangs.
That was one of the things you commented on in the first half, was the Mustangs need to do a better job rebounding, and they, without a doubt, have controlled the glass on both sides of the floor.
Defensive rebound come up by Ripsum on the miss by Stitt. Cornmester drives. Cornmester, good feed to Brandon Lambert, who will kiss it off the glass. Reggie Paris back to Stitt. Stitt inside, good feed to Davis. Wide open. No good. Nick Cito, and now another offensive rebound by Stitt, no good. Ripsum with a defensive rebound. Here comes Garrett Ripsum. Ripsum had the game winner a week ago, as they'll get a nice jump shot that'll go in for the SaberCats.
As I'm sure you've heard in almost all sports, it comes down to the little things in the game. One of those little things right now is boxing out. You just need to put a body on a man. Doesn't matter if it's your guy or not. Put a body on a man. Allow everybody to get in there and crash the glass, because right now the Mustangs are just running right past everybody to grab that ball.
Christian Davis with the 3. That goes in. Fossil needs to figure out how to guard him because he's been a big factor. Cormester will try to answer. No good. That'll go the other way for the Mustangs. 2:38 left here in the third quarter. 46-25 lead for Mullen. Cito. Cito was one of your key players to the game. He hasn't been much of a factor with his 9 points per game. But how about this kid? Christian Davis with yet another 3. The junior putting on a show here at Fossil.
Kind of going off what you said a moment ago. Cito, we're not seeing his scoring right now, but we're definitely seeing his playmaking. He's creating for other teammates. Basically, everybody has been involved in this offense tonight.
Ripson draws the foul. He'll head to the line for 2. Now Christian Davis, Fossil needs to figure out the way to stop him from those wide open 3-point shots. I mean, he's not being contested at all. He's nailing them, especially from the right corner.
It seems like every time Fossil gets 2 or 3 points, the Mustangs just come right back down and answer with a big 3, and they'll go on a small little run, and Fossil things just look like they need a miracle at this point.
Ripson, one of the better free throw shooters for Fossil. He missed the first one. He's a 72% free throw shooter. The senior will make 1 out of 2. Timeout, Coach Johansson.
So now that we have a moment, and this game's kind of out of reach as of now, but you never know what could happen. When it comes down to the end of the game, if you're Coach Johansson, my apologies, do you choose to play your seniors as it's their last game, or do you throw some of those new guys in, some of those younger bench players, and get them some playoff experience under the belt?
Well, I think you go with your best lineup, especially in the playoff game. Still, we got 10 minutes, 10 seconds left here in the game. I mean, they are down by 23, but it's high school basketball. Anything can happen, as we watched, especially with college basketball.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of game now. Fossil comes back. Michigan State, who's ranked 2nd in the country, they came back from 27 against Northwestern last Saturday. Fossil trying to do that here, as they're only down by 23, so a little bit more of a reach for Fossil. And as you saw from that, I believe you watched it as well, the Michigan State Northwestern game. Michigan State just kept on making shots. Fossil needs to do that. Who does Fossil turn to for that to happen?
I think they need to turn to, without a doubt, Ripson. He's the leader of the team. Allow him to create for others, especially Lambert. I think those are the 2 guys they need to rally around right now. Get some energy inside them, get everybody pumped up, get the bench, the fans, the band pumped up, and we'll see what happens.
Fossil is putting on a little pressure. Stitt. Back to Paris. Brady Paris. Paris will drive. Paris kicks out. Stitt, the long 3. Got it.
Wow.
Another 3-pointer made by the Mustangs. Ripson. Back to Kornmesser. Oshis. He's been kept quiet.
They need to be careful with the skip pass, so that's been a little dangerous for them this game.
Oshis with the 3. Each side responds with 3-point buckets, as Cito thought about driving, but he kicks it back out to Stitt. Vaughn Stitt, the junior, back to Davis. Christian Davis. Underneath.
I believe they moved a taller defender in Ripson onto Davis, who is roughly the same size as Kowachek, who plays the 4 or the 5, and Ripson, of course, a point guard. Do you kind of see a little bit of like a Ben Simmons-ish kind of play by Johansson right now, playing the bigger guy at the point guard position because of his passing ability?
Yeah, I think that's the only way you can stop Christian Davis with those long 3s, because he's just getting wide open now. Fossil with those big guys, they gotta keep up with Christian Davis.
Yeah, without a doubt. His offensive game is just so polished. He's able to catch and shoot. He's able to create for himself, shoot off the dribble, create separation. He knows his skills, especially against taller defenders. He knows when to kick it out. His basketball IQ is just very high for a young player in high school right now.
Now, I made the Michigan State analogy to college basketball, and West Virginia, known for their press, does Fossil go to the press and create pressure on Mullen despite being down by 23 points?
I think they need to see how it goes. It really seems like Mullen hasn't struggled with the press so far, as I'm sure they see a ton of that against teams like Overland and Denver East. If it's working for Fossil, I say stay with it. If not, they just need to stick with man and have a lot of pressure on their shooters.
Isaac Odukani commits the foul. That's his first. 52-29 lead for the Mustangs. Also trying to make a little run here at the end. 28 seconds left. Cormester can hold for the last shot if he wants.
Do you see as an opportunity for Fossil maybe go 2 for 1? I know the shot clock, or the game clock, my apologies, is kind of low. Do you think Cormester will shoot it?
Nope. Rips it with the offensive glass, no good. Long pass, great pass to Christian Davis. Davis tried to lay in, but Cormester, a smart foul. First time Christian Davis, despite all of his threes, he'll go to the line for the first time. And he's one of the best in the country, or best in the state, 88% from the line.
If I'm correct, I believe after that foul, Davis gave a little stare down to Cornmesser. It seems like things are kind of getting a little bit chippy here towards the end, especially when you're getting blown out on your home court in front of your fans for the last game of the season. Tensions can get high, and we see that in almost every range of sports.
Yeah.
So if you're Fossil, do you try and use that as energy and motivation, or do you kind of shy away from maybe creating some bad mistakes?
Well, let's see if Cormester can get the last shot he does in. Good defense from the Mustangs. I feel that Fossil, they're struggling really badly right now. They're down by 25. I believe. Or is it?
I believe it is
30. 30 point. I couldn't.
Oh, you were correct. 25.
25.
Yes.
25. Okay. 8 minutes left during the beginning of the fourth quarter. Now Mullen has done very good of getting the perimeter shots open. They haven't gone too much underneath near the baseline to these big men for them, like a Reetma or like anybody else that they have, Mason. What does Fossil need to do to stop the perimeter shots, and do they need to force them to make those shots underneath?
I don't really think of a lot they can do. I think the Mustangs like to get the ball in the corner a lot, so I think they need to maybe trap in the corner, force some bad passes. But, I mean, there's great defense, and then there's just better offense. It's what we're seeing, especially from Davis right now.
Well, the cheerleaders for Fossil trying to get the student section into the game, that's not really working right now.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to them, though. They just got, I believe, 8th in the nation in one of their things, so that's pretty awesome. So they can hang their heads high about that. I mean, not much to hang high about here tonight for any Fossil Ridge fans.
Fossil on pace to only score 32 points in this game. We're down by 25. Or no, not 32, but more like 40. 54-29 game here. Advantage Mustangs. As Cito will try to get something started for the Mustangs. Dean checks in with his 4 fouls. Go ahead, Tyler.
Crazy to think, since 4 minutes left in the second quarter, the Mustangs have outscored Fossil 40 to 15.
Christian Davis tried a long 3, didn't go. Veen with the save. Davis, that's a foul and rips him. Mullen came all the way down here from Denver, trying to come up with the upset against Fossil on the road. Trying to head to the second round of the Chasa State Tournament. It's going to be a charge.
Great charge by Kalchek. So do you think if you're Fossil right now, this game looking at a reach, do you try and keep things competitive, or are you just kind of going to try and play it safe and not allow the Mustangs to build up this lead any further?
I think Fossil needs to keep playing competitive. Rips him a long three, got it.
Rainbow three.
Yeah, right now, I mean, that's huge. Cutting down the lead, trying to make a little run here at the end. Fossil has made a lot of runs towards the end of the game. As nice feed.
Rotations by Fossil have just not been well tonight. And it looks like we have the freshman Tice Baldwin about to check into the game. Another three by Ripsum. That's short.
Rebound come up with by Riepma. Yeah, Tice Baldwin checking into the game. He's the only freshman on this varsity team. Veen drives. He stepped out of bounds. (56-32) advantage for the Mustangs. And Tyler, we talked about it earlier. We have talked about Fossil potentially making a comeback. 6:33 left. It might seem like a lot of time, but right now, from the way Mullen's playing, Fossil needs to make quite the run to get the win in this one.
Yeah, especially if Mullen keeps their starters in. I just don't really see much being able to happen for the SaberCats. Maybe going a little run, keep the final score close, but I think at this point, this game has to be over.
And one of your key players for Fossil was Brandon Lambert, and he has made a big impact on this game, but he has been kept quiet in the past couple of minutes. They haven't been able to get him down low. I don't even believe he's in the game right now.
No, he hasn't been in the game for a while, so
yeah.
just not much they were able to do with him. It looked like Mullen did a great job studying their film. A lot of teams know coming in to play Fossil throughout the season that Lambert has been the key guy. And as long as you can shut him down in the post, he has a little bit of a thinner build, especially against guys like Ritma and Mason. Doesn't have as much strength. He relies more on his agility and his post prowess, like his footwork and things like that. They just came in here with a plan and they stuck to it.
Well, let's see if Fossil can make a run. Coach Jansen should like it. Kornmesser will bring it up past half court, or past mid-court. Tice Baldwin, he's checked into the game. The lone freshman on this varsity team, very talented one. Long feed, Oshas with a long three, no good. Baldwin with the offensive board. Back to Marley, great movement. Ripson thought about the three, he'll drive. Good drive.
Great adjustment.
That was a smart decision.
Yeah, without a doubt. Baldwin did a good job of adjusting in the air to keep the ball over the Mustangs defender. And Marley with one of the better skip passes we've seen from Fossil today, which hasn't really been working for them, but on that possession it was.
Christian Davis with yet another three, no good.
Rare miss from him.
Yeah, especially in this game. Kornmesser drives. Kornmesser, nice drive. Couldn't finish. Remo with the offensive board, and now Cito will bring it across midcourt. The guard play in this game has been very, very well played. Kornmesser and both Cito. And what's that?
5 seconds.
5 second violation? Okay, that's what I thought. Close guard by Kornmesser. He's a talented defender, junior.
Bodner's going to check in. So do you think Johansson's kind of throwing in some of those guys who haven't seen a lot of playing time, or just kind of mixing some of those bench guys into the starting lineup because they're seniors? Yeah,
I do believe he's getting some of their players that don't get much playing time as a turnover. 5:18 left here in the fourth quarter. Fossil down by 22 points.
Lambert has also checked back into the game.
And Fossil, they did have a good start at the beginning. They scored 6 points and they were up 6-2 and 6-4. And now Mullen just pounding Fossil, both on the perimeter and inside.
Mullen keeping most of their starters in like 6th and 7th men off the bench in this game too.
Davis up against Ripsum. Christian Davis has been huge. He'll get fouled. Ripsum showing some frustration as Christian Davis, especially this game, has been one of the tough guys to guard.
I believe that has been like 3 fouls that he has picked up while guarding Davis. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of frustration coming with guarding the best player. When you feel like you're playing your best defense and, in your opinion, you feel like they get bailed out like that, it can be frustrating, especially just adding icing to the cake with the blowout right now.
Cito with a great drive, couldn't finish. Lambert with the defensive board. Oshis back to Lambert. Bodner back to Lambert. Long 3 attempt, no good by Oshis. Baldwin with the offensive board. Ripsum. Bodner. Oshis underneath. Ripsum the 3. No good. Fossil wants to get back in this game with 4:05 left. They got to make those.
A lot of missed opportunities throughout this game. As we know, Fossil has been a very good shooting team, especially from 3. Do you think maybe the loss of Weiner, who has been one of their better offensive scorers, has affected them in this game, or do you think the outcome would have been the same?
Yeah, I do feel that's affected Coach Johansson and his squad. I mean, Fossil Ridge, I mean, they're just not putting up a fight anymore. 3:35 left. Baldwin, good feed underneath the Lambert. Lambert, they've done a good job guarding him. Baldner with the 3, no good. From the way Fossil was shooting in shooting before the game, seemed like they'd be scoring more than 34 points.
They scored, surprisingly, it doesn't seem like it. They've actually scored more points than they did in the first half, but I mean, Mullen, just the dominant team that they are, they look to make a good push in the playoffs. Hopefully that'll be a competitive game that they play against Overland. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see how kind of the rest of the playoffs pan out.
Yeah. Bonner with the 3. No good. Here comes Christian Davis. Davis, nice move, nice finish. Man, has he been good this game. Bad pass, we'll stay with Fossil.
As I said, the skip pass, Mullen has been all over that today.
Yeah.
Fossil, I think that's probably been one of their the biggest keys for their turnovers is just the long passes across court. With the long defenders that Mullen has, it makes it tough to do things like that.
Sing Mason will check out as, Adekane will check in.
First time we've seen him, or I believe second time.
Yep.
He hasn't seen a lot of playing time tonight. Only a sophomore too.
Yeah. 6'8", he does have some length on him.
And size as well. He's a big guy.
Lambert will shoot 2. He'll nail the first. That's the first basket for Fossil in a long time.
Yeah.
Lambert, a 68% free throw shooter. Misses this one. Stay with the defensive rebound, and here comes Paris. Brady Paris. Drives, Brady Paris. Back out to Stitt. Trying to get in underneath Odekani. They tried to, intercepted by Lambert. Good defense.
Do you see Mullen right now trying to add a little bit more insurance to this lead, or do you see them just trying to run out the clock and play it safe?
I think they're just trying to play the game. I think, bad pass. Or just miscommunication. I feel that Mullen right now with 2:33 left, they have a 25-point lead. I think they're both going to try to run out the clock, but still play basketball.
Yeah.
And I think the seniors are being taken out. Ripsum and Lambert, they'll take a seat and potentially and most likely the first time they'll step on the court.
Great 4 years from them. I'm sure not the outcome they expected for their final game, but it's been a great run for them. They had a great season this year. Only things to improve on for next year, and hopefully they can make a deeper run.
Yeah. Cedar will drive, will commit the foul on the ground.
Now we also see Mullen kind of tossing in some of those less minute guys into the game. Davis will take a seat.
Cito will bring it up against Tice Baldwin, the freshman.
Davis still has another year of play for him,
Yeah,
so
right.
definitely one of the key players to look out for in Colorado next year.
And Christian Davis from Mullen, only a junior. He's got another year. Three attempt is good.
Not a very big guy either, only listed at 6 feet even and 145 pounds, roughly about the same size I am.
Yeah.
Just his ability to use his shooting as his dominant thing. He's able to finish very well too.
They stepped out of bounds. 1:45 left. Fossil doesn't look like they're gonna make the incredible comeback like Michigan State did against Northwestern, but Sam Oshis will be checked out. He's a senior who is also playing his last game right now. It's the last time they'll step on the court at Fossil Ridge High School. Otakani with the defensive rebound. Here comes Paris.
And you can just see over on Mullen, nothing but smiles and happiness, and then on Fossil, nothing just, I think, disappointment from all of them. They expected a little bit better from themselves. They played their hearts out, definitely. Mullen is just a better team.
Nice floater from Brady Paris that goes in, and Fossil, their student section has been kept quiet during the entire
Yeah,
game.
we're starting to see some people begin to clear out. Of course, signs of a loss. I think disappointment from them. They stuck through it though. They stuck with this team throughout the season. So yeah, I think nothing to improve on next year.
Dylan Ellis couldn't finish, and that's going to be a jump ball.
Tension's getting a little high here. Don't need to see any of that though. The 50 seconds left.
So also take out Dylan Ellis, the senior, along with Calvin Marley.
And I think if you're Mullen right now with false players kind of get a little chippy, getting a little talkative, I think you just you tell your guys to relax, just kind of in one ear out the other, because you don't want to lose any key players for the next game. As we know, high school and college rules can be very strict on things like fighting and with suspensions and stuff like that. So just play it safe, finish out the game. And
Yellow Thompson tries to drive. Continue, Tyler.
just respect to both teams. So they just need nothing but respect for both of these teams. They both played a very well game. Very fun to commentate.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And now, even though the boys might be out, Fossil Ridge girls have a game coming up this Friday, and they'll try to look to take on their state championship title. Their girls team has done very well so far this season. Had a great season. Tice Baldwin with the three, got it. The freshman Baldwin putting the last points up. 38 points for Fossil. They're down 65-38, and now do it as Paris will run out the clock. And Fossil Ridge eliminated from the Chassis State Tournament, and Mullen will advance. What did you see from Mullen today?
They stuck to the things, as I said, mentioned earlier, that they were successful without the season. Davis made an impact, but it wasn't just Davis carrying the load. They have guys like Sister, who wasn't scoring, but he was creating for others. And you also have guys like Rubba, who's creating inside, and it was also their defense.